In this video, we are going to show you how to solve equations by getting rid of the fraction. Okay, and then we have a procedure of how to do that, and we're going to go through it step by step. All right, so here we go. Step 1 is to find the least common denominator for all fractions in the equation. So you have, here's your denominators. You have an 8, a 4, and a 2. All right. So first thing we have to do is find the least common denominator, meaning the smallest number that 8, 4, and 2 can all go into. And that is going to be your LCD. And here your LCD is going to be 8. Okay, so 8 is your common denominator, and it's going to be your least common denominator, your LCD. Now step 2 is to multiply by the LCD. Okay, this will get rid of the fraction. So we're going to multiply everything by LCD. So your LCD is 8. So we're going to take 8. And then we're going to multiply by 2x over 8 minus 3x over 4. Okay, and then on the other side, we're going to take 1/2 and we're going to multiply that by 8. Okay, so step 2 is to multiply both sides of the equations by the LCD, and then this will get rid of the fraction. So let's see what happened here. So 8 goes into 8 once, so you're left with 2x. So here you're left with 2x. All right. And then when you multiply by the 3x over 4, 4 goes into 8 2 times. And then 2 times 3x is negative 6x. And then here, half of 8 is going to give you 4. Okay, so that's step 2 is to get rid of the fraction. Now step 3 is to use the distributive property to remove the parenthesis. So there's no parenthesis, so we can skip step 3. Step 4 is to simplify. Looks like we need to simplify the left-hand side of the equal sign because those are like terms. So when you combine those two terms, you get negative 4x. And then here we bring down the 4. Step 5 is to use the addition or subtraction property to move the variable term on one side and the constant term to the other side. Well, if you look at the equation, you have the variable on one side and you have the constant to the other side. Well, and then you have the constant on the other side. So we do not have to do step 5. So step 6 is to use the multiplication or division property to remove the number that is in front of the variable. So what do you see in front of the variable? Well, you have a negative 4. So to get rid of the negative 4, we have to divide by negative 4. And then we have to do it to this side. And then negative 4 over negative 4 is a 1. Okay, so negative 4 is 1. So you're left with x. And then here 4 over negative 4 is negative 1. Okay, so we solve for x. We found out what x is. X is negative 1. Okay, let's take a look at another one here. Solve for x. So we have to find out what x is. Okay, and then we have a procedure of how to do it. We're going to follow the procedure step by step. All right, so first thing we have to do is find the least common denominator, the LCD, for all fractions in the equation. So your denominators, we have an 18, a 9, and a 3. What would be the smallest number that can go into, that these numbers can all go into it? Well, it looks like 3 can go into 18, and then 9 can go into 18, and then 18 can go into 18. So therefore, your LCD is going to be 18. Okay, so that's step 1. That's the first thing we have to do. Now, second thing we have to do is to multiply all fractions by that LCD. So 18 times x plus 9 over 18. And then on the other side, we're going to take all that, 1 over 9, plus x minus 4 over 3. And we're going to take those, and then we're going to multiply by 18. We're still on step 2. Let's see what happened here. 18 goes into 18 one time, and then 1 times x, and then 1 times 9. So you still have x plus 9 on this side. And then on this side, 9 goes into 18 2 times, and then 2 times 1, well, that's going to be 2, plus 3 goes into 18 6 times. So you have 6 times x minus 4. Okay, so that's step 2. And then step 3 is to use the distributive property to get rid of the parenthesis. So it looks like we have to distribute the 6 to remove the parenthesis. So I have x plus 9 is 2 plus 6x minus 24. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4 is to simplify. So we have to simplify. Looks like we can combine the 2 with the negative 24 because those are both constant. So then we end up with x plus 9 on the left hand side, and then 6x minus 22 on the right hand side. All right, so that would be step 4. And then step 5 is to get the variable term on one side and then the constant term to the other side. So here I'm going to minus 6x to get rid of the positive 6x. And then if I minus 6x there, I get a minus 6x on this side. Okay, so here you have negative 5x plus 9 is, these are gone. And then you bring down the negative 22. And then we have to get the constant to the other side. So your constant is a positive 9. So we minus 9 to get rid of it. And then we minus 9 to the other side. Okay, so we bring down the negative 5x. These are gone. And then here, negative 22 with negative 9 is going to give you negative 31. Okay, so that's step 5. And then the last thing we have to do is to get rid of the number in front of the variable. So here we have a multiply by negative 5. So to get rid of it, we divide by negative 5. And then we divide this by negative 5. So negative 5 over negative 5 is 1. So you're left with x. And then on this side, negative divided by negative is a positive number. So, but 5 cannot go into 31 exactly. So we're just going to keep it as 31 over 5. All right. So that is what x is. So here we're solving for x, so we have to find out what x is. All right, so first thing we have to do is find the LCD. So we have to find the smallest number that 3, 2, and 4 can all go into. So your LCD, which is the lowest common denominator, well, that is going to be 12. Okay, because they all can go into 12. All right, so that's step 1. Step 2 is to multiply both sides of the equations by that LCD. This will get rid of the fraction. So we're going to multiply the left side by 12, and then we're going to multiply the right side by 12. So we have 12 times 2 over 3x minus 1/2 times x plus 5. And then the other side, we have 3 over 4 times x minus 1. And then we're going to take that whole thing and we're going to times it by 12. Okay, so that's step 2. Continue with step 2. We got to distribute the 12. So 3 goes into 12 4 times, and then 4 times 2, that's going to be ax. And then 2 goes into 12 6 times, so you have 6 times x plus 5. And then on this side, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and then 3 times 3 is 9, so you got 9 times x minus 1. Okay, so that's step 2. Now step 3 is to use the distributive property to get rid of the parenthesis. So here we have to distribute the -6, and then we have to distribute the 9. Okay, so that will get rid of the parenthesis. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So here we have ax minus 6x minus 30. And then on the other side, we have 9x take away 9. All right, and then step 4 is to simplify. So simplify means you got to combine like terms. So it looks like we're able to combine these two terms because they're like terms. They both have x as the variable. So combine those two terms. We have 2x minus 30. And then this side we have 9x take away 9. Okay, so that's step 4. And then step 5 is to use the addition property to get the variable on one side and then the constant term to the other side. So I'm going to get rid of this positive 9x, so that is to minus 9x. So if I do it to the right, I gotta do it to the left, minus 9x. So here we have negative 7x minus 30 is, and then positive 9x with negative 9x is gone. And then you bring down the negative 9. And then we have to get the constant term to the other side. So get rid of the minus 30 by adding 30. So if I add 30 there, I gotta add 30 to this side. So I have negative 7x minus 30 with positive 30 is gone. So those add up to 0. And then this side, negative 9 with positive 30 is positive 21. And then the last thing we have to do is get rid of the number in front of the variable. So I have to get rid of this negative 7, and that's a multiply by 7. So to get rid of it, you divide by negative 7, and then you divide this by negative 7. Okay, so negative 7 over negative 7 is 1. So you're left with x. And then negative 7 goes into 21 is negative 3 times. So x is negative 3.